power into the hands of the liberal elite. I was wondering what steps you would take as president to reform the electoral system in its current state.
I would eliminate all campaign finance reform because it's all a joke. Okay? And it's well-intentioned, right? Senator McCain was well-intentioned when he did what he did. But here's the problem. Every law is written by lawyers. Okay, I'm one. I'm a recovering lawyer. And I've practiced law now for a long time, 14 years, God bless. Here's the thing though. If laws are written by lawyers, smart lawyers can figure out how to get around those laws. Super PACs are just getting around the law. And we need to stop this foolishness of thinking that we can regulate money in that way in politics. It's not going to happen. It's a 330 million person continental nation. And we need to communicate to all of you. And that costs money. There's no cheap way to do it. And I'm not going to go to TV stations or radio stations and say, you need to give it to us for free. We're not a socialist country. They have a right to make a profit too. The fact is, what we're really worried about with money in politics is undue influence. Not the money itself, it's that the money represents influence. So here's what I would do. Take all restrictions off, eliminate all super PACs or other outside organizations in a presidential campaign. And I should be able to take as much money from whoever I want, whenever I want. And I have to disclose it in 24 hours on the internet. Yeah. So every check I get within 24 hours, that's got to be put on the internet. And you need to be able to go onto my website and look and say, okay, well, Christie got $5 million today from Steve Forbes, who's a wealthy guy in my state, right? I only wish. I didn't, by the way, but I wish I did. But let's say I got $5 million from Steve Forbes, and let's say all of a sudden I'm starting to advocate for tax breaks for magazine publishers. Well, you maybe should grow a little suspicious then, right? That's what we're talking about. The reason we've tried to regulate money in politics is to try to reduce influence, undue influence from people of greater wealth or greater power. If what we do is disclose all this stuff, then you have it. It's right there in front of you. And you can make your judgment about me and the policies that I advocate as to whether there's something that really comes from my heart or whether all of a sudden I've had to change a heart when someone writes me a big check. Because all this other stuff isn't working, because right now what's happening is the system is less transparent rather than more transparent. We have all these regulations and now you have groups that don't have to disclose their donors. So we can take money from people who we don't even have to tell you we're taking it from. And since we can't coordinate with those groups, we don't have to take responsibility for it. So if a super PAC runs an ad that you don't like and you say it's a super PAC that's acting on my behalf, and you come to me and say, hey, Governor, I saw that ad that super PAC that supports you put on. That's awful. I don't like it. I go, oh, I'm sorry. I'm not responsible for that. Because I can't influence. I can't call the guy who's running the super PAC and say, hey, don't run those ads. I don't like it. They're not my style. If I do that, I violated the law. I can't talk to him. What are we doing? It's crazy. We're lessening responsibility of candidates. We're giving us more distance away from the way we're communicating to you. And somehow we think that's making it a better system. So let's stop pretending. Let's take the limits off. Let's everybody take money from wherever they want to take money from. The reason I brought up Steve Forbes is, you'll remember Steve Forbes ran for president twice, right? I tell you what Steve told me, and I know he said this publicly, he never wanted to run for president. He wanted Jack Kemp to run for president. And he wanted to fund Jack Kemp. And the law said he couldn't fund Jack Kemp, but he could fund himself. I said, well, I don't really want to run for president. Someone's got to be talking about these ideas, and Jack can't raise the money, so I'm going to go do it. How crazy is that system? If Steve Forbes wants to fund Jack Kemp, let him do it. Yeah. And then everybody knows Steve Forbes is funding Jack Kemp. And if Jack Kemp all of a sudden starts to give breaks to businesses that Steve Forbes is allowed in his conversation, well, then you know. And you know that about any candidate. So I think that's the way to do it. I think we've tried every other way, and it hasn't worked. So let's not pretend anymore. Money's always going to be in this business because we need to communicate to you. That's what the money's used for. You know, 75% of the money that's raised by candidates is put on TV and radio and the internet. The rest of it's for paid staff and those little stickers. So right, that's it. So that's what we should be doing, I think, in my opinion. And I think it'll be a more honest system, a more transparent system, and a system that will serve the people who are trying to decide who to vote for much better. All right, so last question. Yes, ma'am.